Hello, everyone. This is Mary Kurek with Frontrunners Innovate, and I have this gorgeous face with me. I love her hair. Look at her hair; it's awesome. This young lady is out of the UK, and we were just talking. She has so many titles, you're not going to believe it. But she is such a leader in the healthcare space, in humanitarianism, and I just can't wait to bring her to your attention. This is the Honorable Dr. Angela, and I'm going to hope I get the name right. Unufe-Kennedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spot on.
All right, we're just going to call you Angela.
That's right.
Fantastic. And we know we're going to find out where she's originally from, but right now she's in the UK. But she is the founder of Humanitarian and Healthcare Awareness Foundation and the co-founder of Mother and Community Health Awareness Program out of Africa and the UK, servicing both those areas, and the CEO of Migrant and Minority Disability Network Europe. Boy, I can't wait to get into that one and unpack that. Find out a little bit about it. But this young lady, when you hit my attention on LinkedIn, it was like, wow, this is somebody who is out there to change the world and is doing it in such an amazing but directed way. And as we were talking before we hit record, you know, you've got an NGO that you started in Ireland. You've got these other things going on in the UK, and you're also working in Africa. So you've got your tentacles everywhere, lady. You're busy. So tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your background and what brought you to this line of work that you're doing.
Mary, thank you so much for that. And thanks for the introduction as well. Yes, my name is AngelaUnufe-Kennedy. Mary, you did a brilliant job in pronouncing it. So that was absolutely 10 out of 10. I was born in the UK in the 70s. I'm not going to say my age, but my dad took me back to Africa, to Nigeria, where he started a work there in the south of Nigeria, I remember. And I grew up in Nigeria for the first 10 years of my life. After losing my dad, I was with my mom, and she felt the need for me to come over to the UK to kind of study. My mom is, I would say, a champion in girls' education. I'm from a region where girls are not seen as anything. I'm from a family that believes boys is it, even though you've got ladies who are more senior to males, but boys are boys. So I was challenged by that from a very young age. I didn't like that concept that I was the first child, but I'm seen as the last child because I'm a girl. So when I came over to UK, obviously that passion was still in me. I went to secondary school. In secondary school, I found my passion actually. Mr. Hall, my craft design and technology teacher, I was talking to him about disability, like, you know, what can I do to help, you know, people with disability? I don't have a disability, but there was this passion to help. And he just said, you know what, you can do anything you want to do. And I said to him, you know what, I like inventing things. I was so interested in electronics back in the day. And I said, you know, I want to invent the wheelchair that would have the hydraulics. So rather than the patient, you know, we kind of like making things to suit the person with disability, why don't we put some hydraulics on the chair to lift the chair up so they can reach the cover, they can get cups, they can get, and he looked at me like, where did you come up with that idea? I just thought of it. And it's like, okay, let's do a prototype for it. So we kind of started that. And obviously it was my GCSE year, which is age of 15, because I left school quite early, an early age. And then it was just, I thought to myself, I couldn't actually carry on with it, but it was just a starting of my my feeling of I want to invent things to help others. And in any way I can, I will. When I did leave secondary school, I was in college. I was a runner. I was on heptathlete, so I was doing heptathlete as well, in doing 7 events. I was a badminton champion as well, 16.
Overachiever. Overachiever.
I was really interested in sport, but my passion again went back to people with disability. How can I help them? So I enrolled myself, a 16-year-old, in a course to be a disability coach. And I was so proud of myself to doing that. I got a scholarship from a football club where I was playing football as well. And I used some of that money to do the training. And I was actually training children with disability in sports. So that's where the passion came from. And it's just embedded in me from then on. Obviously, during that time, I was thinking, you know what? I think I'm going to join the Navy. I was 16. I was thinking, you know what? I'm just in that mood to do that. And I got into the Navy. I did my interview and everything, and my mom got to find out, and she was not happy. Girls don't do Navy. girls don't do this, girls don't run. So I really didn't have that support structure when I was growing up, because I was really good, as a lot of coaches did say, but I couldn't go behind my back of my mom. I was very, very like respectful to her. But then I was in pain because I felt like I'm not living the dream I want to live as a child. And obviously that's what kind of like strengthened me in the sense of wanting to empower more girls, more boys. So girls and boys, I'm not really specific about girls because boys go through their own challenges as well. But girls in particular, especially in the area I'm coming from in Africa, are very marginalized. We are seen as just nothing really. And hopefully things are changing now, of course. I mean, this is like almost 40 years ago. So that's how it started. And I went to college, I was doing my training, and I had to make a decision when I was in university to whether take my athletics seriously into a professional level or go to uni and kind of earn a good living, because I wasn't getting any sponsorship at that point in time. So the decision was made by myself to go to university to do my first degree in business operation management and marketing. I still was doing athletics, but not on the kind of like international or like A grade standard. But I did train with the greatest runners in Britain. So I was really, really excited about that as well, to be part of that journey with them to win Olympic gold. One of my colleagues won Olympic gold in Atlanta. So it was absolutely, it was a nice feeling to be part of that, even though I wasn't involved in it. So that's part of my university life. Then I got my first job. I was thinking, when I finished university, what did I want to do? And funny enough, I read exactly the same course my dad read years ago, and I didn't know that. So it was just a coincidence. And so that was really exciting. I thought, yeah, but I didn't want to really go into operation management and all that. No. That's just way too much time spent on sitting down on a table and a computer. I wanted to do something else. So I applied to be a computer analyst, and I got the job. So that was really exciting. I was there for about 2 years, and obviously I wanted something more. I had my first son during that time as well, and I went back to work straight away and just worked my way through telecommunication, because during that time it was getting close to 2000 and Y2K. Obviously, everyone was talking about computers shutting down, things like that. So it was really exciting for me, because anything exciting, I love it. And it was challenging because I was the only female switch engineer. And for me, that's what I want. I want to show everybody that we women, we can do this. And that's my passion, that's my drive. And when people ask me what's your drive, just to make a difference, just to pave the way for somebody else, another woman to be where I was, or even better than me. So yeah, so that was it. So obviously I traveled around the world. I worked in America with Warner Brothers International Cinemas, and I obviously ended up in Ireland. So I got to Ireland, they made the team redundant. And I said to myself, my other half, you know what, I'm tired of traveling with the kids. I want to settle down. I want to do something. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, nursing. And he's like, really? I said, yeah, I want to do it. But as a joke, and he's like, really? So I did the exam, I did a test, I did everything, and I got in to do nursing. In Ireland, it's much difficult to get into nursing because it was more old school. You had to do an interview with 5 people, you had to do the test, and the computer has to select you. So it was not like it is here in the UK. It was a bit tougher then, but it was great that I was selected, and a few people weren't. So I really appreciate the offer, and I obviously was attending Dublin City University. Finished in 2013, but prior to finishing, I think I was in my second year in university. Where I was working was a home for children with disabilities. And I realized the communication between the health professionals and the migrants, it was like they were speaking on different languages. Yeah. They weren't understanding what the health professionals were trying to say, and they were thinking whatever they're saying, they want to take the children away. So that notion of scared, they were really scared. Yeah. And I thought to myself, I went home that night and I thought, what can I do to kind of breach that gap? because you can see there's a massive gap. And I talked to the pediatrician, and they're like, oh, she doesn't understand, we're trying to say this. And I talked to the family, I don't know what he's saying. I thought, you know what? When I do finish, today I finish my course, I will set up an organization. And 2013, to the words, I set up Migrant and Minority Disability Network Ireland at first, because Ireland was where I was. And it was Ireland I got the idea from, and it was Ireland I felt needed that input.
Yeah.
In the first 2 weeks, I got over 50 cases. What we
Whoa.
do, it was only me at that time. I've not even graduated properly at that point. I was waiting for my pin.
Well, I think you found the need, right? So how did you service that need, though?
It was driven by my bank account. I was working at nights, night shifts.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, would you get interpreters? How did you do that?
I was quite lucky, actually, because a lot of them spoke English. And then if they didn't speak English, someone else who spoke English would contact me, and they would come with me. So then there was no need to pay for any interpreter, because somebody there speaks English already in the family.
Yeah.
So that really helped.
Yeah.
But not for long, of course, and everything. Yeah. So one of the things we've got to remember within the migrant community is word of mouth. They will trust you if somebody else has seen you or actually had a service with you. And I knew that was key. So it was very important to make sure confidentiality was important. That the discussion we had, unless it's not something that's life-threatening, of course, I will keep that, because that's the that's what the agreement. But as much as anything, I want them to be part of it. It's their case, it's their children, it's their life. I'm only supporting you. So the HSE, which is the Health Service Executive, which is like the NHS in the UK. So they're the owner of the hospital services and everything. Were referring cases to me. And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, what? I'm not getting any funding. I've applied for funding, couldn't get funding. It was really difficult, but I didn't want to stop. I carried on. At that point, I was mentored by the Disability Federation of Ireland. So that was a massive thing for me. That was the support I needed. They believed in the work I was doing. I had a mentor who was telling me what I need to do and how things should run and things like that, which was very, very useful and helpful. And they are the ones that suggested I put in a proposal to the European Union in relation to accessibility. And I said to them, oh, this is big. I didn't expect that. I'm only 2 months into the organization. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. So I wrote the project. They sent it off to the European Union, which was the ESPD, is the European Partners for People with Disability. And they have over 150,000 members across Europe. And I got an email and a phone call to say, you know what, we don't want you to come with Disability Federation of Ireland. We want you to come on your own. And I couldn't believe it, because I was going under the banner of Disability Federation of Ireland. And now you're saying, and they just said, Angela, let's go. You got to go, because they wrote another project as well. So literally we were like seeking for funding. Just the small me of 2 months ago, and an organization has been there for like 40 years. But it was just the fact that they were able to give me that space to actually give like my feelings and the need that is needed. And what is accessibility? So literally what I thought in Ireland, when a lot of people with disability from the migrant community, when they're setting up shops and things, they do it upstairs. You know, people with disability can't go upstairs. They have to get family. It was always very cramped. The wheelchair can't go through. So it literally was trying to get the government to say, listen, please support the local community in relation to people from the migrant community. When they are setting up businesses and stuff, there's enough space. They're thinking about, they can't hire a bigger space because it costs more, which is understandable. But then you're preventing someone with a wheelchair coming to do their shopping. So where is that fact of independence? You're taking that away from them. So yes, I went to the European Union, Brussels. It was absolutely exciting. And then I just networked with everybody there. It was absolutely great experience. It was daunting, because obviously I've never been in that kind of midst of so many people. Obviously this was pre-COVID, so it was like everybody wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
So I was given the offer of being a member of the ESPD, and I jumped at it. Absolutely, I will do that. And yeah, so we kept working on projects, and I gave inputs on discussions or future projects. And so it was in situation, it made me feel that what I was doing was worth it. I am fighting for something and fighting to help somebody have a better life. And that's how it started till 2016. So I was watching the news like everybody else when the migrants were coming over from the Atlantic Ocean, Mediterranean Sea to the European shores. And I turned around to my other half and I said, you know what can I do to help? And yes, I'm watching this, but this is not, I feel I can do something. And he's like, okay, we know how you do. So you go off and think about it. And I came back and I said, you know what? How do we assess the health needs of these people? Who's doing it? How are they doing it? Are they documenting it? Is there a way? Is there a program where they can put in information, database where you can actually access it somewhere else? And I thought, you know what? I'll put this in writing. And I went to Brussels because there was a meeting there. So spoke to one of the ladies about the idea I had, and she was like, "Oh, that's fantastic, but you need to speak to the president, and you've only got 10 seconds. And if he likes it, he says yes, then we're in business." And I thought, okay, thanks, no pressure at all, absolutely no pressure. So met President Luc. I went there, just gave him like less than 5 seconds, just an intro into what I'm thinking we can do as a organization with their organization. And he's like, yep, absolutely. Less than 5 seconds. Put in writing, let's get going. And that was it. So that was the birth of AMID. AMID obviously is assessing migrants with healthcare needs. So literally, it's not just assessing, but collating data, how, in relation to women with physical health, as well as disability and hidden disabilities, because a lot of them had hidden disabilities. Trauma, you can't assess that straight away. But the goal of this project, AMID, was to just like train people, train the police, train the guards, train, local volunteers, non-clinical kind of information. So we had to design the questionnaire. We had to train them. So it was a really long process. And it was so positive because they felt they can actually interact with the migrants, which before they couldn't do that because the migrants are scared that they're going to send them away. Or the fact that they don't have any paper, they might not be able to access health. So that was, for me, the main core of that project was we should provide healthcare regardless of their status, whether they have the right to stay or not. And gather the data. So the data is only assessed by healthcare professionals, no immigration, not anything to do with your status at all, because that was key for us as well. Because if that wasn't there, I don't think that trust will be there, that confidentiality will be there, because they'll feel that you've sold them out. I am talking from experience, and it was very important that the other team understand. It was 12 different countries that actually joined in this project. It was a multi-million euro project. And yes, COVID came. I had plans to visit a lot of the United Nations on an unaccompanied minors camp in Cyprus and Greece and all that, just to train the health professionals, but then COVID came, so we couldn't do that. It is still there at the moment that I really do want at some point to kind of pick it up and do what I can. I mean, ESPD have said there was support, but I have just not had the time to do that yet. But yeah, so that was, it was absolutely a groundbreaking project, and we launched it in November 2019. So there's loads of information about it in relation to that. I think, and the other thing as well, why I insisted on having that database as well is people from, seeking asylum or refugee, they move around in Europe. So we want a situation where there's a database where they can actually, if health professional can access it and find out and just get the information about that patient without the patient reliving that trauma they have been through. So if they were in Germany and they were moved or settled in Spain, health professionals from Spain can access that data and support that patient, because now they are in a clinical setting. So that was another reason of the goal of creating that database and that software. So it's called a needs tools analysis. So,
yeah, I think that's interesting. I do have somebody I had interviewed in Turkey that has a platform. I don't know if you've met him or not. His name is Errol. Anyway, he was trying to address kind of same but different in a different way, refugees. And have a platform for them, because so many of them come to Turkey. They have such a big population of refugees, is trying to help the mothers and the refugees there find health resources and resources for their children and that sort of thing as they're coming through. And so he created a platform for being able to do that. And in so doing, then he's also capturing the data of those. And like you say, once they might get to the starting point might be somewhere in Turkey, but that may not be where they end up or stay for very long. So they're moving around. But, you know, it could be that might be a conversation for you guys to have, because he, you know, that was his sort of technical gift to work on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be fantastic, because obviously the project is still ongoing. We've got another 10 years of the license to look after the database. So absolutely, I would be really excited to kind of like.
I mean, it's fairly new, fairly young, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 years, but you know, it's still moving on, and he's making more progress with it all the time. But it's twofold: getting some information, but also being able to have them have you know, a ready, accessible way of tapping into a platform that will show them where the nearest, you know, pediatrician is for whatever, or where you can get your COVID shots, or where you can get flu shots, or anything else that might be available to them. So we know kind of all the hard work that you've done, and that you're just like a risk taker, girl, and jumping right into the middle of something, even if you don't have the background for it. But it doesn't seem to dissuade you, and it's serving you very, very well. What's happening right now? I mean, this is a lot of background work that you've done, but what's going on right now that you're working on? What projects are you involved in?
Yeah, thanks, Mary. So at the moment, the project I'm involved in right now is reducing surgical sites infection across sub-Saharan Africa.
Ooh, say that again. Okay, so you're, I'm going to write that down. Surgical.
So reducing surgical site infection.
Oh, explain that a little bit. Give us some examples.
Yeah, so for example, you have a lady going for cesarean section, you have a baby, she has it, and she has an infection afterwards. But because she's had surgery, then that site is infected. So
gotcha.
I know it's quite a mouthful, isn't it? But yeah.
It is, but I do get it. Yeah, I do know that infection is one of the leading causes of mortality with the mothers and also babies, because of unsanitary deliveries that are happening. I'm working on a project right now for that. So this is good that you're doing it.
Fantastic.
So tell me why sub-Saharan Africa? Is that just because of where you're from, or is it because of the numbers you are realizing are so big?
So it's a couple of things as well, because this is an American company called Infection Reduction Partners. They have they've worked with Irricept. Irricept is it's a product which is an irrigating product which removes debris from the wound site after surgical intervention. They contacted me through LinkedIn actually, and obviously we were talking, and they were talking about coming to Africa, because obviously the numbers in Africa is extremely high, which is absolutely correct. Because part of my NGO, MCHAP and MENÀ, is all about, you know, health promotion, you know, reducing infection, reducing mortality as well, So all that are really our goal. So when they did approach, I was really excited about that, and excited about the product as well, because it was such an easy device, but so much impact. And it's all about technology, which I really love as well, because I love people that invent things to make life easier for others. That's a passion. So when they approached and said they wanted to go to Africa and stuff, and I said, can we do research as well, please? Because it's so easy for us to just go in and sell things in Africa or Asia, but it would be nice to actually get those doctors, surgeons, everyone involved in some kind of research to see if the product works. And he turned around to me and said, okay, I've never thought about that, but we'll go on and discuss and we'll come back. And I came back and said, you know what, Angela, we're going to do that. We're going to do some research, but we're still going to go into Africa. So would you like to lead on that? And now this is where we are now.
Oh, okay. So what, are you traveling there? Tell me a little bit more about the project.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is we had to decide a couple of countries in Africa. Nigeria, because obviously I'm from there and I have quite strong links with the medical university. And I feel like giving back to any country. I'm not really particular about whatever country it is. And so we've selected Nigeria because obviously I have that link with the medical university. It was easier to actually get the resources I needed, which were, we needed at least 3 hospitals where we can actually do the research. But to be honest with you, we've got more than 10 wanting to be part of it.
That's awesome.
We had, and when we decided to go in as well, we had no template, we had no protocol. So all that was written by myself and Sam, who's the CEO. So it was loads of work to be done because the template is going to be replicated to any other country that wants research done as well. And obviously using the products, because the whole idea is to reduce site infection. And if we've done a study in Africa, it's easier for the African nations to say, oh yeah, it's not a study done in America, it's done here. So they would relate more to that product than you bringing it straight in. So that was a concept. That was my reason behind that concept. And it's working, that people are seeing the product before we even do anything and like, oh, we want that, we like that. That would actually help us reduce infection. So what we did, well, what we ended up doing, I selected the hospitals that I feel is, we can work with. So it was 2 teaching hospitals, university teaching hospitals, very important because, that's where we're growing our future doctors, nurses, health clinicians. And then the other one is a federal medical center. And that 2 of them are based in Bayelsa State, which is south of Nigeria. It's very poor over there because that's where the oil drills are going on, that service the whole nation, but that region is so poverty stricken. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to go down to that site as well, because I felt they needed this intervention. And then we've got the other southeast, which is the University Teaching Hospital of Nigeria, one of the first teaching hospitals in the country. Agreed to be part of the project as well. So that was a massive, approval for us as well, to literally show that we're doing something right. So those were the 3 hospitals, but then we were inundated with other hospitals wanting to be part of it. So we've kept it down to 3. We obviously do kind of like a research study on other aspects of the care, but our focus now is cesarean section. Because that is the high numbers, 33.3%, of women dying. It's just too much.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely. And so that was the reason why we selected the country. But obviously we've got Malawi, Tanzania, Zambia, Gambia. So literally other countries are waiting to kind of like, and learn more and what we can do and how we can help the citizens as well. So once we did that, I flew down with my other colleague, Mary. We had to teach every surgeon how to use it. So the surgeons that we have selected in the hospital who will be doing the research with us, they need training. It's easy to do Zoom, but it's harder because at the end of the day, there's questions. Sometimes that face-to-face is needed. And I know in that area, in that side of the country, they will listen to you more when they see you. Because, oh, okay, it's a real person. And it was well received. I mean, it was so shocking because these are people who are so busy, but instantly just stopped what they're doing and welcomed us. Got the team together within 24 hours. We did a training, question and answer. So we did training on 2 sites. So we're yet to do on the last one, which we are going to do sometime this year. But it's just the fact that we got all the information we wanted, excluding data, because we wanted data. We can't provide that data. So we're thinking, all right, let's get the data together. Let's work together to do this. So that's where we're at the moment. Everything's ready to go. We're just waiting for 1 or 2 things to kind of so what we're waiting for is the company who owns the product wants some kind of surety from the Ministry of Health that they will kind of purchase, because they're donating some, a pallet, which is a lot, for the research. So that's where we're at. So we're literally waiting for that, for the MOH, Ministry of Health in Nigeria, to come back to us, but they haven't. And just like any other thing, it's all about waiting and pushing. But we are on a standby right now, that we're ready to go. So that's the main project right now, because obviously I'm running it with Sam and Robert Goodchild as well. So yeah, so we're literally pushing it. So that's where we're at the moment. But hoping to go to Gambia in August, and I will be meeting the Ministry of Health and talking about how we could help them with reducing infection. Not just in a cesarean section, it can be used in cancer, urology, everything. It's literally a product that can be used across board. But we are really focused first on reducing the infection rate within the maternal
health.
Absolutely.
Situation. That's fantastic. I wrote down like about 10 names while you were talking. That's why I was asking questions. Yeah, I have somebody in the Gambia for you. And and it's good. And I have a foundation that you need to partner with.
Fantastic.
So I know this is this is what happens.
Oh wow, it's fantastic.
Along with 2 other, you mentioned Malawi, because I work in Malawi. I do some work in Malawi as well.
Fantastic.
So so this is good. Wow, you've got your plate full. It sounds like what you're doing right now has an extension into the next 6 months, because I talked to you about the fact that I wanted to know what's happening in the next 6 months. Well, it sounds like by the end of the year, you hope to go back and hit that other hospital and get them trained up. And it sounds like in that period of time, you're trying to get that agreement from the government, the Ministry of Health in Nigeria. And we all know how long these types of things
absolutely
to come out, but having the right connections, forward is important for you. Is there something new or different that's coming in the next 6 months, other than what you've shared with us is really most priority of going on?
Yeah, we're doing another big, massive research study in Kenya in relation to the Ericeps as well, but that is more scientific, and that's going to be huge. It's absolutely huge. So I will be flying out to Nairobi with Sam to do training. So literally, we'll be doing a lot of training across Africa, or any country who's interested in reducing SSI, because at the end of the day, we have a goal, and it's just to reduce that numbers. It's just too high. It's too high, and mothers are dying for no reason whatsoever, all because of the periods. I think one of the good thing about this research we're trying to do as well, we have watertight kind of like feedback procedure. So majority of these surgeons, they do a lot of research, but they lose the information. So we had to make sure that the information we're getting is correct.
It's cloud or something.
Absolutely. And so the data is very
and then
important.
that it's the right kind of information that you want. And because you're gathering that information, have you got the attention of the World Health Organization or the UN for sponsoring anything like this?
No, not yet.
All right. Well,
not yet.
We need to talk about somebody else then. I'll write down that name. That I know that the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, actually, not the World Health Organization, has started a sort of real concerted effort between them and the United Nations on getting partners together to work toward, they say non-communicable diseases. Correct. But honestly, maternal health has been on the top tier of their health list forever. Yes. And seriously, nothing seems to be, you can throw money and throw money and throw money at things, but until you get that grassroots level of change making to happen, it's just nothing's going to happen.
Absolutely.
So, but they are putting some real effort toward that, and they've got sort of a statesman in charge of bridging that gap between the two organizations to start filtering and looking for those partners that are making a big difference. You qualify, you and Ericeps definitely qualifies for having a conversation in that level, because you're doing two things. You're solving with a product, but you're also data gathering. And you're doing the training that goes along with all of that.
Absolutely.
And that's really key. And constant good data gathering is what will release funds.
Yes.
for getting things done. And whether those funds come from a large NGO that's working outside of the country or it comes inside the country, doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of how it flows and where it flows to make the most good, and that it's quantifiable about how it goes.
Absolutely.
But
Mary, I just want to kind of add to it as well, in relation to, we are hoping, I mean, that's my passion as well, because I love educating, to create a policy with the government that would help make it standardized across board the whole country, so everyone is doing the same thing and no one's doing this. And that's my big goal in the next couple of months as well. So it's not
standard
just
care.
It has to improve. It's got to improve. So,
well, and I think that one of the big things that I've talked about with the gentleman that I was telling you about that's bridging that gap between the two organizations is they're big on prevention and education.
Absolutely.
And because that's, you can, like you say, you've got this wonderful invention or this innovation that could create change, but until you get the mindset shifts that need to happen as well, it's really, it's an uphill battle. It really is. So that standardization of care and also educating people and best practices.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is fantastic. So my last question, my dear, and I think I've got a whole 2 pages of lists of people that can help me, but I want to hear it from you and I want people to hear it from you. Who do you need to help you move forward with what you're doing?
Thanks, Mary, for the question. Definitely the Ministry of Health in the countries in Africa will be very, very important. Private partnership as well. Organizations who, put out grants in relation to helping reduce infection across Africa, definitely. We are ready to work with anyone who's ready to kind of like reduce infection. That's our goal, just to reduce infection rates. It's just too high. We're in the 21st century. We need to do better, and hopefully, we'll get there at some point.
Well, I'll tell you what, my money's on you, girl. You've been able to pull off some major things in your young life so far. So congratulations and thank you for all the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal. And so if you'll stay on with me, I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody else.
Okay.
But if you're watching this on YouTube, go to www.frontrunnersinnovate.com, where you'll get to see this interview and some bio information, contact information, links, and everything that she'll share with us. You'll have all of that there. And if you're one of those that likes to listen and drive and listen and walk or whatever, we'll have the audio podcast version of this same interview there for you as well. So I'm going to say goodbye to you guys and say thank you to Angela for spending some time with us today and all the great work that she's doing. And thank you, everybody. Happy front running.
Thank you.